Hello, hello. Happy Monday, July 6th, 2026. How is everybody? Good afternoon, Russell. Did we survive the holiday weekend? Yes. Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. Long weekend, what if they found a green smoking jacket? No green smoking jacket. Nope. I'm trying to think. We saw something in purple not too recently, and I was just like, yeah. So, um, yeah, we did. Hey Pat, how you doing? I just pulled your stuff, set your stuff aside for you this morning. So, well, I had it set aside, but I moved it to the more appropriate area, awaiting your arrival. Um, yeah, so Lisa and I went antiquing on Saturday, and I had called ahead to make sure that a couple of places I wanted to go to were going to be open. Now we hadn't been. This is a couple hours away. We hadn't been there. Um, hey, Gabriel. We hadn't been there in a couple of years, so, whatever. And I called a couple places, and they said, yeah, we'll be open, no problem. So, okay, that's good enough for me. Finally, the heat wave ended. Yeah, we're a little bit cooler now. So I figured as long as we're going up there, it's 4th of July weekend. There'll be other places open. Gary, hello. And so we drive. We get to the first stop, which is a place I'd never been before. Fuzzy, how you doing? Good afternoon. We get to the first stop, and lo and behold, there are pens. Not much, but I'll show you what I got in a minute. And then we head up to the next spot, which is a big mall. And I knew there was a vendor there that had pens. At least there used to be. And sure enough, a whole case of pens. And I won't say I cleaned them out, but there wasn't much left by the time I was done. It was like probably the most money I've ever spent at an antique store, not intending to spend money. I've gone to antique stores before to meet vendors who had pens, and I knew in advance it was going to be $1,500 or $2,000 or $25 or whatever it was. And so I've done that before, but I knew in advance. Here we got here, and I'm like, I was a little nervous because I was worried that they were going to be, some antique stores you go to, they won't let you touch anything in the case. And one place we went to, I couldn't believe it. They actually, all the cases were unlocked. I never heard of that before. She says, yeah, most of the cases are unlocked. If you see something you want, just open it up, reach in. Sure enough. And we get here, and I'm like, okay. But some places, they won't let you touch it. They'll say, okay, well, what do you want to see? And then you point, and then they pull it out. And I'm thinking, this is going to take forever. Because, Great article about you. Not sure if I saw. Oh, man. Thank you, Brian Anderson. Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't see this. Oh, nice. Yeah, she's a good egg. So we go up to the front. Yeah, I need, case whatever, 43, whatever it is. And there were quite a few people in the mall, so I was worried that they were going to be, stop tapping their foot, let's hurry up. And she was cool. She'd like open the door, and then she went over to another case and started straightening things out in another case. So, like, just left me alone. I said, can I reach in? Can I, yeah, absolutely. Lisa's got her hands open. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to take that one. We're going to take that one. We're going to take that one. And it gets to the point where Lisa can no longer hold them in her hand because they're getting kind of, so she had to hand a pile over to this other person. It was pretty hilarious. And so we end up going to the register, and I'm like, well, hey, you know what? I wonder if we've got, and I've got multiple cards, debit cards that have balances for the company. And like, I'm trying to call one to see if I can use a particular card, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, so there's no reception. And so I have to go outside twice to try to get a hold of my bank to see how much money is in that account, because I'd rather use that account than, a different one that I use for other things. Finally, we get it all straightened out. It probably takes them 20 minutes to check us out. And meanwhile, of course, when we want to check out, so does everybody else in the whole place. So that was, that was no fun. But they got everything squared away, everything put in boxes. And after that, we were like, hey, let's go have lunch. And we find out that the city we're next to, that I had plans to go to a park to lunch, because Lisa usually she'll make the lunch, and then it's my job to find a park or someplace nice and to go and have lunch. I thought, oh, we'll go to this park by the water, and there's like this street festival going on for the 4th of July. I'm like, oh, well, this is no good. So we literally eat, and we're like, you know what? I'm okay. We spent enough money. We turned around and we went home. I think we got gelato on the way home, and then we went straight home. Like, there were some other places I wanted to go to, but there was no way to get there because the streets were closed off. There were literally thousands of people on the street. There was no having it. I mean, you could park your car and then walk if you wanted to, but it was also like 95 degrees or something like that. And, so yeah, we managed to score pretty big. I was pretty happy. A lot of pens in basically 2 shops. We did see something in a 3rd shop, but the price was like, when they get that price is like, if they offer a little bit of a discount, I'll probably buy it. And I said, you know what? We'll find something else somewhere else. So let's take a look at what I got. So I got we'll show you the spoils of war, as you say, and then I've got some client pens that came in the mail today. I want to get started on those, and then if we have time left after that, we've got those pastels that we sacked last week, and we can put those together and do a little writing sample on those. So, Karen, hello, over on YouTube. So anyway, let's see here. I feel like it's been 3 weeks since I've done this. All right. Here's the first batch. The ones on the left are all the better ones, obviously, and nice little modeled hard rubber ring top. Unmarked, 14 karat nib. Why not? Why not? Really nice condition. Conklin Crescent 2P. Nice imprints on this one. A nice smaller Endura. The red is clearly visible. Nice shape. Lapis Duofold Junior. A little bit darker in coloration on the barrel, but it's all there. Little Dr. G's maybe on that part. Oh, hang on. Oh, hello, me. What do you need? All right. Sorry about that. Amazon left my chocolate granola bars outside. So anyway, yeah. So we got a nice Dual Junior Lapis. Always a favorite of mine in this size. I like this size. Nice Skyline. This looks like maybe the bigger one. Is this the executive maybe? See you later. Nice Schaefer. Look at this. Triumph nib, fat Triumph nib on a lever filler. Here's another balance. That looks pretty great. Another balance. I love this green. Green is so nice. Super crystal clear section. Two-tone lifetime nib. Now these are supposedly marked as restored, but we're gonna take them out. Outside or just outside your inside door? I'm really not sure. Lisa grabbed them and brought them in because they left a package yesterday or Saturday. I can't remember which day. Literally, they didn't even bother to come. There's like a little entranceway, and they didn't even bother to open the door into the entranceway into the lobby. They just left it outside. You know, had it been these protein bars of mine, they would have been a puddled mess. What is a good price for a Vacfill balance unrestored? I don't pay more than a very rare exception. I don't pay more than $20. Colin, how you doing? Only because it's good. You know, the prices have gone up astronomically. You know, they're anywhere between $55 to $70 plus shipping both ways to restore them. And in some cases, they're not, you know, they're not all super valuable pens. You know, some are $175 pens, but some of them are not. So, you know, you're going to pay, say you pay $20 in shipping, $10 each way, plus a minimum $55 if you can find someone to do it for that. I have somebody who does it wholesale for me. I mean, you're still at $75 plus your purchase price. So if you pay more than $25, if you pay $25, you're into it for $100. If you are trying to sell it, resell it, there's no meat on that bone. You know, people say, "Oh, I want $50 for it." Yeah, forget it. Not going to happen. Any day of the week, unless you know how to do it yourself. Then you can pay $50 for it. This Vacfill balance, however, was worth a little bit more. Solid 14 karat clip, solid 14 karat wide cap band, and big fat Triumph nib. This is a big pen. I had to have this, and it's actually going out. I'm sending this out tomorrow. to be restored. I'll have this back probably in 6-ish weeks. But really a special pen. No name engraved on the band. Just beautiful. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pen. But yeah, this pen originally was $20 when it was new. So that's your thinking when you're looking to restore a pen for yourself. Yeah, I mean, $25 is even that. I don't purposely buy them. When I value collections that I'm looking to buy, I basically equate those to $0. You know, so if I had all these pens, I'd price them out at, you know, $15, $20, you know, whatever, going down the line. And when I get to this one, it's $0. Because there is a chance that when my restorer gets it, he's going to say, yeah, well, we can't get it open. Something happens. It's happened more times than I can count. So I always value them at $0. I don't ever pay for them unless, you know, and if I do, it's no more than $20, $25. So, an okay-ish balanced pencil. As they say, the price was right. This one's kind of fun. Very nice. You like the thick... Why don't I restore it myself? Well, it's a vac fill. I don't do vac fills. I've done one or maybe two. But I'd rather send it to someone who knows, who specializes in it and does them. Especially this one. I mean, this is a very, very, very nice pen. It's the nicest one here by far. An Eversharp 45 or whatever you call it. No Parker on it at all, but it's got the Eversharp logo on it. Does this have the... Yeah, this part comes out. But in a cool green. I didn't even open it up. It's got a Wherever cartridge in it. So that was kind of fun. We got a classic. I love these. I buy them all the time. This was kind of weird. A Sheaffer Sentinel ballpoint. Sheaffer's sort of answer to the Jotter. It never really took off. I used to carry these, and we'd be like, I had bought them twice, and each time I'd be like, well, these are probably a really good idea, and then I wouldn't sell any, and I go, you know, these are probably a terrible idea. And here we are again. I bought it, but I think, you know, it was the price was right. Another Sheaffer pencil. And then I got over two places. I got 4 of these Kohinoor Stylographs. So these are going to be a challenge. The price was right. Hard rubber, we can blacken that up. Stick them in some, now that we have Rapido Ease. Got a bunch of them. Oh, that's the whole piston. Well, we'll see what's cooking there. Extra nib, or extra stylo. These were priced such that I figured even if they didn't work, if I could get one to work, it will pay for the other 4. That one actually moves. All right, moving right along. This was kind of fun. This is a Deltograph made in Holland. Cool green ink window, stylograph, piston fill, piston moves. Number 2 on the top. That's kind of different. I don't know that I've ever had a pen from Holland before. Maybe the award for the weirdest pen ever at an antique mall, a Pilot Metropolitan ballpoint. Okay, sure. Clean it up. Why not? And last in this tray, one of these nice silver plate Sheaffer mechanical pencils. So they're kind of fun. Oh, and I almost forgot about this one. This one I found at the first stop. A little bit of a crimp in the nib, and I had to buy it. This is a Cardinal. So these are the Cardinals like I expect to see them. It's got this, metal friction fit band. And then it needs a sack and a whole lot of help and something. But as they say, the price was this was fun money is what this was. So nib looks marginally okay, but it'll clean up. It's got some schmutz on it. So those are those. Because of course I had to buy a desk set. Look at that. Look at how cool this is. Sheaffer. Touchdown. It's like a nice medium nib. It's got this cool kind of narrow strip. That's cool. I gotta have that. And then Cocoa set. Why not? Here's a Aerometric set in black. Here is a set in teal or blue, whichever one that is. And then to round things out, a couple Sheaffer sets. A nice green Crest Touchdown. Now it's got a little ding in the cap. That Touchdown. I didn't even look at the pencil. Pencil works. And one of my favorite boxes of all time. A nice striped balance set with this kind of milled cap band. Crystal clear visualated section. Matching pencil. Now these pieces are engraved. But I like the way it's done. It's done kind of on the back. That works so good. Let's see. This is Louis Lefko Incorporated Jewelers in 23rd North 10th Street in Philadelphia. Yeah. Yeah. So that was... I was a little disappointed. There were a lot of other pens available, but if you had a 3-day weekend and you didn't corner the market in Wisconsin and desk sets, there was one I wanted to buy. I'm pretty sure Lisa was going to make me walk and carry it home if I bought it. There was a big Lion. I think it might have been a Sheaffer desk set. I took a picture of it. I got to look it up. And it was priced. I mean, there was no meat on it for me to buy it and resell it. But I mean, it was okay priced. I would have bought it for me. But it was a big, a big base. It was big and a big line, which was about maybe, 8 inches, give or take. There were a couple other desk sets too, but the that touchdown was priced right. So, all right, let's get this repairing some pens, shall we? So yeah, that's the weekend's grouping of pens. There actually were a few more pieces, 4 or 5 other ballpoints that I bought. There was like a bag of stuff, and it was whatever for the bag, and there was like a couple of good pieces in there for me, which were included in that, and the rest I gave to Lisa so that she could take them to work, because she doesn't like to have good pens at work because people will steal them. So, but yeah, I wanted the lion. She said no lion. All right. Today, these are the pieces I want to start working on. I got a couple pens in from clients. We got an Esterbrook, a little SJ here. We got Papa and Baby, Black and Pearl dual folds. This one needs a feed. The feed looks okay. And then this pen suffered a terrible accident in shipping, and the section broke off. So we now have to try to get that out. And of course that is, I've got my thread sealant on there, so that's going to be fun. And then I need to remove the inner cap from this guy, since this came out of one of the other pens, and this will probably work pretty well. Yeah, that'll work pretty well on this guy here. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. And then when we're done with that, if time permits, we've got all these guys to assemble and test, and we can go about our day. So if not, we'll wait till tomorrow. All right. So you had used your birthday card, the deck, so you couldn't use the card to buy that desk set. It of the deck, so you could. I don't understand. Use your birthday card. The deck, so you can use a card. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. Something didn't type out right. I was okay. I was okay with how we ended up. Because it's so. I won't say it's rare to find stuff, but it's rare to find that much stuff that's priced right enough for me to buy it, fix it up and sell it. Now, again, except for the vac fill, most of those pens were sold as restored. I'll be the judge of that. I'm still going to open them all. Holy smokes, what's going on here? So I don't know. They could have been restored 10 years ago. There we go. But it was a fun weekend. I was a little annoyed. I get it. We asked if the vendor would be open to a bigger discount if we bought more pens. And they shut us down immediately. Yeah, I know. Because I mean, there were a couple that I was on the edge about. You know, like the nib wasn't obviously perfect, but it wasn't obviously bad either. You know. It could have been fine, but I didn't want to spend good money to find out it wasn't fine. If I didn't actually have, you're just trying to make a joke. Okay. I get it. So I left a few pieces. You know, there was, you know, a nice Waterman, 1940s Waterman, but it had the wrong nib. And I'm thinking I may or may not have the nib for it. I might have it, but I don't think I do. So we'll go back in a month or two maybe, and maybe he will have loaded up with something else. Who knows? Yeah, it depends on the definition of restored that they're using. Yeah. You know, and the thing is I have to guarantee that it's going to work. So, in order for me to check, I got to get it like 50% of the way there anyway. So I might as well. Boy, this is tough. Am I enjoying the Tour de France? Yeah, I've got the first two stages done. Obviously, I haven't seen it yet today. The first stage was a heck of a stage, man. That new format for the team time trial. I wasn't sure how I was gonna like that, but it's pretty good. I like it. It provided some good entertainment, that's for sure. Stage 2 was great. Pogačar could have won. Could have been victory number 21 for him. But I think he bought some loyalty. So I'm looking forward to watching again tonight. Wow, that is jammed in there. Swift has launched a new expansion in their Paris world. So there's new routes to New routes to do. The team time trial is really good. Yeah, it's different. I always thought it was kind of crappy that, the fourth guy, you got to get the fourth guy across the line to get the time, Um, mm. So if you're a really good rider on a really kind of a B-level team, you're screwed. Really would like to get this. There we go. Meanwhile, my heat gun is heating up the office. And now, technically, this should be a friction fit section. Yeah, you liked it too. Yeah, it was fun to watch. I got to admit, and as a diehard cycling fan that I am, um, time trials are kind of, I hate watching them. If it's if I'm riding my bike and the route that I need to watch for that day is a time trial, it's a snoozer for me. I just don't care. I mean, I get it. You like the Trek bikes paint job to celebrate their anniversary? Yeah, that vintage lettering is cool, and that The one problem I have, which you don't have, Gary, and I know what the answer is going to be. The answer is VPN, is what the answer is the U.S. coverage is just beyond pathetic. It's just the worst. I just refuse to pay for the Flow Bikes subscription. And get a VPN. I don't mind Bob Roll and Phil Liggett, but the guys in the studio I could do. I could do without. All right, is this guy going to open up for me, or what is he going to do here? I'm going to try it a little bit more. Well, there's no metal in this other than the nib, so technically I can just douse this whole thing. I don't really need to. Put it on my thing and let's see how far. Alright, next up, this pain in my you-know-what. That in there. I did get myself a very large come on set of drill bits. Too big. Well, that might work. There were 11 Aussie riders taking part in this year's Tour de France. Nice. There are two things that I don't like about the U.S. coverage. Well, there's plenty of things I don't like about the U.S. coverage, but one of them is well, there it comes. Is they got to constantly remind you of who the U.S. riders are, and usually none of them are all that great. There we go. And the other thing I dislike is I'm tired of hearing about Paul Seixas being the French phenom, being 19 years old. Enough already. I'm over it. You know, yeah, the kids got a lot of wins on the tour, on the world tour this year, but I'd just like to stop hearing people call him like he's the second coming of Eddie Merckx or something. But the U.S. commentators probably won't stop until, I don't know. I mean, what is he, 43 seconds behind already? As of start of stage 3? Like, enough already. We get it. But he hasn't proven himself yet. You understand it, as the French have not won for so long, national pride is like, I mean, yeah, I get it, but I mean, to offer the kid a $13 million contract, you know, 30% more than what Pogačar makes, having won what, 209 or something like that? 209 World Tour victories? How many has this kid won? I mean, yeah, he was able to keep up with Pogačar in, what was it, Liège? Milano-San Remo? One of those early spring classics? Nobody else could? I mean, I get it, but the U.S. just don't know how to commentate on cycling, so they stick to the same 4 stories. Pogacar, Vingegaard, Seixas, and whoever the American favorites are. I mean, and let's be real. None of the Americans are going to win. They're not even close. They're domestiques for a reason. You know, don't get me wrong. Matteo Jorgensen, Sepp Kuss, I love Kuss. That dude can ride. He is one of Vingegaard's biggest assets. So I wouldn't take the money? Oh, I absolutely take the money. Yeah, of course. But, you know, I kind of think that the kid's got to kind of prove himself first. I mean, yeah, he's won a few races. But let's talk about when he's won something significant. I guess I'm just grumpy of the crappy coverage we have, so. We have a guy called Matthew Keenan on the commentary team. He has a great knowledge of the sport and the individual writers. Simon Gerrans is also a commentator with Caleb Ewing as expert guest. Yeah, that's, you know. I mean, the best we got is Brent Bookwalter in the studio. This TJ Van Garderen, he's got to go. Got to go. Come on, NBC. Alright, that doesn't really want to go in now, does it? TJ was a good writer? Yeah, okay. But he's an awful commentator. He's awful. Every time he opens his mouth, it's garbage. He very obviously does not like Pogacar. Yeah, it just drives me nuts. They could find somebody better. I mean, you want some good humor. Um, there's all sorts of threads on Reddit about him. There we go. Did the Visconti you had on your podcast already get sold? No, I still have that one. The Medici? No, it's still available. If you're having a problem finding it, just shoot me an email and I'll send you a link for it. It's a super sweet looking pen. Come on. I need to go about 3 or 4 millimeters. Almost, ironically, the least expensive and the most expensive pen that I showed on the podcast, everything else sold. The least expensive, the Kaweco Sport and the Visconti, the two pens left. Everything else just gone. I do not have the box for that Visconti, by the way. But otherwise, it's really pretty perfect. I'd like to see this go down just a little bit more. There we go. All right, enough of the heat gun. It's hot in here. Holy smokes. So, inner caps. Oh, speaking of inner caps, need my inner cap puller. There it is. Let's find that pen for you. There it is. All right. Inner cap on this super cool Esterbrook is all dorked up. This is not my normal inner cap puller, but this one works for Esterbrook. There we go. And unfortunately, Esterbrook inner caps, like when you try to pull them, this happens. They just turn into just dust. So the normal process of working with them ends up screwing them up. I'm going to use this guy a lot today. Perfect. This is such a great patterning on this pen. It is outstanding. And I've had it for a while. Well, more than a while. Because I've been looking for an inner cap that I can steal. That's not going to break when it comes out. Well, I think this broke. It's way too short. . So that's going to be a problem. You have agreement like that too? Shame those Pearl Duofolds turn like that. Are there any out there that haven't browned? Yeah, I mean, they come up every once in a while, but you're going to pay. I mean, these days the premium is like 75, 100%. You know, I should charge a lot more for this patterning on this green, but who's going to pay it? It's loads better than any other green. You just want to see. You know, the Schaefer Black and Pearl seems to have survived far better than the Parker. And according to the Duofold book, apparently it has to do with the material being made with like fish scales or something. We'll see if that'll last. You have a gray transitional that is absolutely stunning. I probably should have bothered with collecting different Esterbrook patterns years ago, but it's too late for that nonsense now. I mean, I guess never say never, but... My favorite are the English copper shades. That material is just so pretty. All right, so we're going to soak that. I don't know what we're going to do about that pressure bar. All right. All right, let's get this stuff out of the ultrasonic, see what that looks like. All right, we're gonna dump this stuff into the Dr. G's. Set that off to the side. Now that cap is really, really very nice. Just put that nib in there just for a little bit extra leverage. The nib's a little crooked, so we're gonna address that too. It's a Venus nib, so not original to the pen, but it fits, and later on it all became one company anyway. So this person has had this pen for a very long time. So we're really just trying to save this whole thing. And by a long time, I mean it's been a long time. Like, it sounds like since new. Looks like some kind of India or drying ink or something. So there's a little tweak in the nib, but you know, it's got to be clean first before we try to fix it. You've enjoyed watching The Move, also The Move Plus with Johan Brunel and Spencer Martin. I can't believe they let Lance Armstrong back on TV. I watched a couple episodes last year. All right, they really want to try to keep. They really want this nib, so. It is better. I don't like how it went in, so. They were all doping, but it's hard to forgive how Lance went after people with critics. Yeah, yeah. And that's why I just don't, I just can't support that. You know, and he continually shows no remorse. There was another biopic or whatever you want to call it on him not too long ago. And he said, you know, I had to do it all over again, I would do it the same way. There we go. Sometimes you have to look for, you can see this little crease there. And sometimes even, you know, the cut in on the end. And that's really kind of where it needs to go back in. If it doesn't have a, you know, this is a Venus nib, so doesn't have that indentation like a lot of the Esterbrook nibs do. I also wish that George Hincapie wouldn't, you know, be so associated. He's trying to run this new team. And, you know, he's got Lance as a sponsor. I always liked George. But I'd like to see him do something without Lance being involved. Just my 10 cents worth. And that's about what it's worth. It was 10 cents. Yeah, everyone likes George. But I mean, seriously, why can't he do something without? Why can't he do something on his own without having Lance involved? And if you're just tuning in, yes, it's July. That means there's Tour de France talk. I mean, there's always some kind of cycling talk on here. But there's Tour de France talk probably daily here. And I will not get behind like I did with the Giro. I did make sure to finish watching the women's Giro before the tour started. Talk about an exciting women's race. Right up to the end. And unfortunately for Anna van der Breggen, the bitter end, as Demi Vallerine take the win. Expensive to run a team. Yeah, it is. I know. Tell you, if I had a lot of money, if I had enough money, not a lot of money, if I had enough money, you would see Cardinal Pens on a jersey for a women's cycling team. And I don't think it would take. I got an idea what it would take. It wouldn't take all that much. Because they're the ones that need it. Your poor wife feels like a widow in July? Well, Lisa and I have an understanding. When I ride in the evenings, that's when I start watching the tour. I mean, might as well watch it while I'm on the bike, right? For, hour and a half or whatever, 2 hours, 3 hours if it's a weekend. But if I don't finish, then I watch it before we go to bed. And the goal is to finish every stage every day and watch the whole thing. I do enjoy the sprint stages only because sometimes I just fast forward through a majority of the middle. But Lisa will watch it. Normally she just kind of reads and does her own thing, but yeah, that looks good. What we're gonna do is we're gonna sack this guy, and we're gonna do the Esterbrook. Then we'll continue on with the dual folds. So I have this new thing where I yell at TJ Van Garderen on the TV, and I do it partly because I can't stand the guy, and partly because I know it makes Lisa laugh. So yesterday I did. I'm riding with this group on Sundays now, and they do a 3-hour endurance ride. And so I put my wireless headphones in, and I watch TV while I ride, and I listen to the pre-show. Just, I don't know why. I don't know why I need to watch that, but I do. And then I usually, what I do, if TJ says something stupid, I just yell out, "Shut up, TJ." And apparently Lisa heard me say it, and she just busted out laughing downstairs. So now I just say it just to make her laugh. The only sport you've ever truly followed or attended with enthusiasm was motocross, but even that I gave up when I stopped riding. I'm just not very sporty, I guess. That's all right. I live in, I live 35 minutes away from Lambeau Field. I don't dislike football, but I couldn't tell you what the Packers' record was last year. I mean, not going to happen. I like going to the, if I ever get, occasionally I have, I mean, it doesn't happen very often, like once every 5 or 10 years or so, hours of piano practice. There you go. Once about every 5 or 10 years, I get, someone calls me and say, "Hey, listen, I got extra tickets to go to the Packer game. Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go. Absolutely." Because it's an experience to go to Lambeau Field. Especially if you're freezing your butt off. That's something else. But, I don't like basketball. I'm not interested in World Cup. Although, if a friend is, I've gone to watch World Cup with friends before. It's interesting. I like sport. I like certain sports better than others. But I could care less about, especially this year, since somebody is scamming people out of money using my name, and I can't stop it because Facebook just doesn't care. Baseball, I like baseball. I liked it as a kid. Couldn't tell you what the Brewers' record was last year. If I get a chance to go to a Brewers game, I go to a Brewers game. Been to a couple of baseball games with well, the president of Sailor Japan. You know, I mean, that's fun. All right, that guy, I am so happy will be ready to go back tomorrow. She's okay with it. You've been watching the tour for years. I mean, yeah, you get to a point where it's like, well, they know it's 21 days in July. That's why if it's not the tour, you know, in the evenings after I get done riding, if I haven't finished watching whatever race I'm watching, I don't. I'll let Lisa watch whatever she wants to watch. I'm not going to torture her with cycling every for the 6-9 months out of the year that there's cycling on TV. You love cars and grew up in the era of muscle car, but have never enjoyed auto racing. Been to a few local races, but the wreck were more interesting than the results. Yeah. My dad and I always talked about going to the Indy 500. Unfortunately, it never came to pass. He went and I think my dad was there in 68. 68, something like that. I should watch a game called Aussie Rules. Watch a game of Aussie Rules. We have a great stadium called to MCG. I am a member, so I attend a few games during the season. Yeah, I mean, I guess Lisa probably, you know, I legitimately don't watch any other. I mean, occasionally, like if it just so happens to be that one of our streaming stations has World Series or Super Bowl on or whatever, I might watch it. You know, probably more so when I had a real job because then, you know, there was something to talk about the next day around the water cooler. You know, if a friend invites me over to a Super Bowl party, I may go. And if there was a Tour de France party, I'd be there in like a heartbeat. But you know, who has those, right? Nobody has those. And you'd have to have them at 6 a.m. in the morning. You know, I have this thing where every year. Actually, I didn't do it last year, but the year before I did it, I get so used to, you know, checking Facebook and, you know, see what's going on there. And, you know, you got family, you got friends, you got pen forums and things that you're a member of. But I'm also on several cycling pages and, you know, they put spoilers out there. Oh, well, did you hear about the crash today? And like, so I started putting little pieces of paper on my phone to cover up like Facebook and, you know, things like that to remind myself, don't click on that until after you've watched the stage. Facebook, Instagram, the news. Hell, you can't even look at Strava. Because, you know, I follow a couple of pro cyclists on Strava and sometimes when they win, that's when they post their ride. So yeah, you'd have to have a party at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something. It would never work. I mean, maybe it would if it was a Saturday or Sunday, but Would any of y'all come over if I had a cycling party on a weekend? I mean, what would you do for 5 hours? You watched the Indy 500 the year Johnny Rutherford walked away from a horrific crash, but never had the interest in going to the race. Big races are such big people zoos. Yeah. You'd come if there was good dip. Yeah, we'd have snacks. We'd have something. We'd have, you know what we'd have? We'd have a big tray. We'd have a big tray of like goo. Different flavors of goo. All the drinks would be in water bottles. I can see it now. All right, let's take a look at this nib here. Oof. Water is getting hot. Time to shut that off for a while. Well, I used to do a thing, and I'm quite happy, and I think I'm actually hang on, Gary. I'm looking at the map. I can't read it from here. I think the second and third to last day of the stage. No way you're wearing those cycling pants, though. That's how you get in, man. That's how you get the dip. I'm telling you. Bibs only. I used to take off of work for any stage that involved Alpe d'Huez. And I would get up at 4:30 in the morning to get ready, get all my stuff, get my snacks, my breakfast, and I watched the entire stage. There we go. And this year I get to do it twice, and I think it's on the weekends. I got to check the schedule. Come if there was good dip, but not wearing the cycling pants. Party pooper. All right, that's what's left of the old feed. You have American football game coming. It's California teams in the opening of the seasons. Tickets sold out in a day. The capacity of the ground is 100,000 people. Yeah, it's like they are too people-y, aren't they? I forget what the capacity is of the Indy racetrack. It was like this past weekend. I'm like, oh, I mean, we knew it was 4th of July. We weren't completely oblivious. But I didn't think there was going to be a huge street party. I mean, the highway was blocked off, for heaven's sakes. And at first I thought it was just like for construction, but no, they blocked it off because there was a street party. And we kind of looked at it like, yeah, it's too people-y. There's my feed. Supposedly this is... How was the Tour de France guide going? Great. It's really going to come, actually, I mean, it's going to come in handy during the week when I don't have time to... You know, on the weekend I could just sit there and I could watch the whole damn thing, but during the week it's... And now that we're actually into some road stages, it's so good to have. There's a guy out there, and I forget who it was or who it is. He does this every year, though. He prints out the calendar of stages, and then he marks them as the watchability. And he's got them in like three or four different categories. Like one is, you know, get popcorn. It's going to be a great day. Watch the whole thing. Another one's like, yeah, you could probably watch the last 10K and you'll be good. You know, real snoozer. He kind of gives you his rating of how exciting the stage is going to be. Oh, replacement nib. It looks like there's a star on it. Don't discount your fingernails as an effective means of removing stuff from nibs and other parts of the pens. They're softer, they have more give. And they won't scratch. Remember, cats scratch, but Parker pens do not. All right. You may have come up on a Vacuumatic with a broad nib. It was advertised as a medium, but it's definitely beefier. Now, if the USPS would just hurry up, right? I know. Yeah, it's going to be a slow week for mail. I am certain. I am certain I'm going to get people complaining about packages being late because there was no mail pickup on Saturday. We came in last night to package up shipments. We actually had most of the Twisby horse year packaged up already on Friday. And then we came in last night for a couple hours and printed the labels and stuff. And so this is something that Ron Zorn showed me last year in DC. It seems to work pretty well for hard rubber sections primarily. Is you put your section on a rod and then you rotate this over your heat source, and it will make it come back kind of into round. You kind of have to experiment with it. Like anything else in repair, don't use Grandpa's Mandarin Senior dual fold section, but it'll make it easier to get your nib and feed back into place. You would have got your Conway Stewart Saturday, silly holiday. Heck, I'll just be happy when I get my... Boy, that's really loose. I get my package from the Netherlands. Okay, that's not bad though. And now I'm just going to heat it up a little bit more with the feed in there. Let's hope that it shapes around the feed. Yeah, the feed's slightly, if I'm looking at it right, is slightly thinner. All right. Clean these up. We can assemble the caps. Blank caps are really hard to get a grip on. So I give myself a little handle. As long as you go clockwise, but not too hard. And then we want to hear that. Yeah, that looks good. Other side benefit of doing this is it really gets all the ink out of the inner cap. Really cleans it out really nice. Like that's just dirty Dr. G's that I have. Is what that is. I mean, beautiful. Just be careful when you're hanging on to these. You don't want to put too much pressure on here because you can crush this. It's relatively pretty thin and fragile. If you hold up by the threads, it's a little bit thicker there, and then you can just kind of, you're just rubbing the top anyway. And you kind of rub till you hear the squeak, and then where is our best side? That side or this side? Like that, or do you like... It's kind of a toss-up. I don't really like that because there's this big thing there, and it just... And it's going to be kind of off-center. It needs to be like right there. So I don't really like that position, so we're going to put it over on this side. And then you can see that on the back. But always think about where you're going to position your clip. And it also means if they use it posted, you'll be seeing this side. If you're right-handed, you'll see this side, which is real pretty. Left-handed, you'll see it. You'll see that, which is nice too. That's just kind of a weird little thing. Now this guy doesn't matter. Yeah, you don't really have a choice. You don't have a choice, and there's nothing to line up, so. All right, so let's see. Looks good. I'm just going to do a little bit more scraping on here. Make sure I've got everything out. Good. Really don't know how this is going to work. Oh, well, we didn't finish this part of the job, did we? Regardless of what the situation is with the pressure bar, we got to clean this out. Quite a bit of stickiness going on in here. Thought maybe I had felt the other half of the pressure bar in the barrel, but it's not there. It makes you wonder, where the heck did that thing go? Now, obviously, this the feed broke off. Maybe somebody opened it up at some point, but this is the worst though when it's sticky like this. I'll throw it in here just for a real quick minute. Let's get a sack for this senior dual fold. Too big. I am missing some sacks. I'll be right back. Hang on. right, that one's good to go. Probably not long enough, but I just wanted to get in there and get it. I don't have much time left here before I gotta go, so. There we go. I'm going to dip it in water first. Well, that's better. Now I can actually see what's schmutz and what's not. Or it was just kind of all black and crusty and a lot of it is at the bottom of the threads. And if you don't get this off, then it's going to be, not only is it going to be hard to get this section back in, but you do risk cracking the barrel. It's tedious. Like a partially dissolved sack. Even in the threads. It's hard to tell because sometimes you're seeing the black from the pearl through the barrel, which is why you got to use a light in there every once in a while. I think it looks good, but what we're going to do is we're going to let it dry, fully dry, and we'll deal with it tomorrow. That'll give me tomorrow to look for a new J-bar, for a new pressure bar for this. I mean, it's just too small. There's no way that's going to work. I mean, there's not even enough of it to compress the sack. So we use this as kind of a template if we have to make something, if I don't have something. But I never did get to those Esterbrook's, but that's okay. We'll start off tomorrow. We're going to test this guy. We'll test the Esterbrook. We'll reassemble this, and we can test this. We'll do these two first. This guy is done. So that'll... this one actually is going to be up on the website today. Because I've already got a picture shot of it, and then I realized after I shot it that the inner cap... I noticed I was putting it in the case, and I realized that the inner cap wasn't quite right. And I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, it's destroyed, so... it's taken me this long to get around to finding an inner cap that will work. So this actually is going on the website tonight. Customer pen. These are all customer pens. So we'll get these out. We'll work on this tomorrow. And then maybe we'll get around to assembling these. And then we'll start disassembling some of the new ones that we just got, including maybe some of those... need to get ready for gym. Have a good night. Yeah, thanks, Gary. You too. Enjoy your workout. Enjoy the tour. So we'll start working on those other ones that I got this last weekend. We'll start working on those tomorrow, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Assuming nothing else comes in. I still have a couple client pens that were supposed to come. They're supposed to show up, but they haven't shown up. So I don't know if they didn't send them or what the deal was. But if those come in, we'll work on those tomorrow too. So that's the deal. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch you tomorrow, all right? Take care, everyone. Bye now.